Eventually on this channel, I want to get into reviewing every single movie from the Infinity Saga, so I did just that. There are some movies where I could just yap about because I've seen it a few times, but for the first Iron Man movie, I have not seen this movie since 2008. I have not seen this movie since I was a kid, so it was honestly kind of like watching it for the first time. So today I'm going to be breaking down Iron Man 2008, the first movie. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with Twitch YouTube channel. So we're going to be walking you through the movie, but to be honest with you, when it comes to all of the movies within the Infinity Saga, this one probably, you can go into like, probably in depth the least out of all of them. Because this movie kind of split up into 4 parts, and the first one's kind of just like introducing us to Tony Stark, and it's fascinating to see a 2008 version of Robert Downey Jr. How the person to become at the end of Endgame, and the person now, like, he's a brilliant, arrogant billionaire inventor. He works on all this. Everybody loves him. Everybody wants to take pictures of him. We see that he's a little bit empty inside, but regardless, the movie kicks off pretty quick because we are introduced to Tony and who he is, and he gets captured by, I don't know if I can say this word on YouTube, a particular organization that starts with a T, you know, it ends with st, you know. So they capture Tony, and he is treated by a doctor there. We see the actual, is it the arc reactor? Is that what he ends up calling it? Regardless, ends up saving his heart. He needs to build a missile in exchange for his freedom, but he doesn't trust anybody. He doesn't trust these people that kidnapped him, and he secretly starts working on something else, that being the first Iron Man suit. Tony then ends up using that Iron Man suit. We have the first fight scene, and it's funny like how like minimal it feels in the grand scheme of things, right? So he ends up escaping. He creates the first Iron Man suit, and it's kind of like, I don't know if you want to call it a prototype, but it's the first version. It's a kind of like crummy version of the actual Iron Man suit. Once he escapes, once he gets saved, he starts building a better one. He gets the idea. He also announces that Stark Industries will no longer be making weapons because he doesn't want to be involved in any of this. He has a brand new idea and I guess he no longer trusts anybody else, but he's having a whole issue with the investors. He's having a whole issue with the company. It could go bankrupt, but he keeps what he's working on a secret. He doesn't tell anybody, and you can see tensions rising a little bit. So this is the problem when I was talking about earlier. Like, it's a little bit difficult to break down this because what can I say besides, oh, it's cool to see him working on the suit. I liked watching him with the camera. I liked watching him talk to the AI robot. I liked watching him fail, blow up. I liked all of that. The only other thing that we can talk about, which I didn't even remember, I thought that they just made this up in Endgame. When Pepper had the first arc reactor that Tony ended up taking out, she wrote proof that Tony Stark has a heart on it. I didn't even think about that's the one he ended up keeping, and that's the one they were calling to an Endgame. I thought they just made that up for Endgame because, again, I haven't watched this movie since I was a kid. It's like watching it for the first time. I remember the conclusion of it, but I didn't really remember much else. But anyways, after that, we have a whole scene with a gala. Tony and Pepper start having a little bit of a connection, and what Tony figures out is that there are still Stark Industries weapons being produced, being used by the Ten Rings, so he doesn't like that. He takes the brand new Iron Man suit. We have a cool flight scene. I liked the part where, like, you know, obviously he ended up using in the end. The first flight was really cool. He was having fun. It was more of a less broken Tony Stark, I will say. He flies all the way over to wherever all of that, the war problems we're having, and he just decides to kill all of the, again, T-words. He decides to take matters into his own hands. The government ended up figuring out, like, okay, there's something weird over here. It's a guy in a suit of armor. I liked the conversation they did with Rhodey. I liked him having the plane fight. I liked the first, like, seeing Iron Man actually in action, and, you know, the music choice that they made, him blowing up the tank, just walking off, you know, that iconic meme with Iron Man or the iconic scene. All of it was really funny. And again, I feel bad that I can't expand on this more because what else can I say besides, like, okay, he was killing tanks, he was blowing things up, he was saving people. All of it was really cool. But in the meantime, we figured out that Stan, I'm having a blank on that, was responsible for Tony's attempted assassination. He was responsible for selling Tony out. He wanted to kind of get control of everything, and they wanted, I would imagine that the goal was for him to take over the company. Regardless, he's been selling weapons for years, and Pepper ended up relaying that information on, but in the meantime, they were creating another suit, like back engineering the first one that Iron Man made, and then we have the iconic clip, Tony Stark built this with a box of scraps! But then Stan actually gets the suit working. He has a really, really cool fight with Tony. I liked the call when he ended up going to space, and we thought that he won the fight. He didn't win the fight. I liked seeing them, like, and what they did a good job too is they really did a good job making you feel like the weight of this battle. It wasn't kind of like nothing like that we see in the Avengers. Oh, this getting punched into this getting punched into that. No, it felt like real heavy machinery, and I appreciated that. And this movie still lives up from all the way back in 2008. That's something that the original MCU did very well. Like, you know what? There could be a couple things here and there, like seeing Tony's head pop out of the thing. There could be things that were worked on a little bit more, but I enjoyed that whole entire last fight scene. Pepper ended up helping him and actually getting the proof that Tony Stark has a heart. That slipped my mind completely. I don't even know if I paid attention to that when I was a kid, to be honest with you, but there's really nothing else that we can say about the movie. The movie kind of concluded with everything being fixed. He was supposed to lay low about Iron Man, but then Tony just announced at the end of the movie, I am Iron Man. People start cheering. Everybody likes Tony Stark again. Post-credit scene comes. We talk about the Avengers Initiative. And who would have thought that it ended up becoming one of the greatest sagas of all time, who Iron Man would have ended up becoming, but this is where it all started, and it was really fun to go back and watch this movie. You can expect on this channel me to review every single Infinity Saga movie up until Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, Infinity War being my favorite movie of all time. Thank you so much for being here and watching, everybody. Check out this video on screen. We don't have, at the moment, any other Infinity Saga reviews, but we have a closely related movie you can check out right here. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Take care.